So the goal of the Colossal Biosciences dire wolf project was to replicate the phenotype of the extinct dire wolf. As of 2025, they have produced three genetically modified dire wolves that survived beyond infancy. Obviously, they are not the first ones they came about, but they are the ones who survived genetic experimentation. And they were named Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi.
Then I'll tell you. So, Prakhar, I intended to tell you this last time, but I fully forgot. Hey, so this was one very normal evening, and we were, we had gotten done with work, and it was dinner time. And Sandy, I was not yet hungry, and Sandy was already hungry, and it was simple dinner, right? Like dal and rice sort of dinner.
Yeah.
Actually, it was just dal and rice. We were going really simple. And by the time I felt hungry, let's just say that I was not a sober-minded professional. Okay, do you remember? Do you remember? Do you remember the sober-minded professional part? Sandy, you look confused.
I don't recall anything.
The alien episode. That it's a callback to the alien episode where the UFO.
Okay, right. The article said that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was not that.
Sorry. What Ashmita is saying is it's a callback to the Lay Alien Conspiracy Theory episode. I think that one is episode 9, if I'm not mistaken. But if you care enough, you can always go back and listen to it. So just please do that. Yes, over to you, Ashmita. Back to you.
Wow. So emotional,
Okay.
Sandy.
Okay. So by the time I got hungry and I had to take the food, I was not thinking very clearly. So I took and Sandy made extra. Okay, that next day also we were having a busy week.
Okay, now
so
I remember
next
this.
day.
Yes.
Next day we are going to have this. Okay, so I went and I took everything that was there in a bowl, and I was like, I'll finish whatever I can. And then next morning, whatever is left, I will have this one because Sandy doesn't like leftover food and I am very happy with it. So I was like, I'll have that. Then I started eating and I finished up the whole thing. So when I went inside the room, Sandy was like, have you kept whatever was left in the fridge? I was like, what do you mean whatever was left? I finished everything. And he was like, that is absolutely not fucking possible. You did not finish everything. I was like, no, I did. And Sandy was like, I don't believe you. You do not have the appetite like that. And for some reason, we made a bet or something that, I did finish and all. And Sandy went inside the kitchen to check later on. And he lifted the dal container. It was completely wiped out, okay? Completely finished. So I was like, look, I finished all of it. So Sandy was like, oh, I am very proud of you. That is very nice. And then he went aside and he picked up the rice container's lid and the rice is full. And Sandy was like, you're fucking lying. Yes, I just had dal and I had no idea. I was like, I thought I ate the whole thing.
No, but my question is, then what did you guys do with just the rice? You were left with just rice.
We ate the rice with other things next day.
I had to keep the rice inside, obviously. She didn't even bother to look in the rice container. She didn't take even a morsel of rice.
I honestly thought it was just mixed in the dal and it was there in the container.
How can you not tell that it had no rice in it?
Yeah.
As I said, I was not a sober-minded professional at that point of time. I was not very much in control of cognitive deductance or whatever. So, whose topic is it, by the way, today?
I'll be doing that.
Do you have a segue?
A pasta that is very close to rice. What is it? Any guesses?
What do you mean guesses? I forgot the name, of course.
This is a very forced segue, by the way, just FYI. So I'm trying to...
See, I'm very bad with
Risotto.
this.
Yeah,
Risotto is the
Prakhar
dish.
will say red. Prakhar will say red pasta, white pasta, and that thing.
Mixed pasta.
No. We are talking
Are you talking
about.
about
Huh,
vermicelli?
no. Risotto is right, but risotto is made out of either orzo or arborio rice, right?
I did not know
And
that. I thought
yeah,
risotto is made out of risotto. Okay.
no. So that is basically Italian rice, and that's where our
Hmm.
story begins. We're talking about Italy. If you didn't understand it till now.
Oh God, Sandy. You're right. That was a horrible segue.
Yes, Prakhar is being racist to Italians, but I guess that is fine. Yes, so Salt Bay is not Italian, Prakhar. Just FYI.
Italy.
So
We're talking about
before that,
Italy.
while I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, I came across a couple of very interesting names: Romulus and Remus. Has anyone heard of Romulus and Remus?
I've heard of Remus because of
Mm,
Harry Potter, but
Okay. In today's episode, what I would like to do is explore the importance of Romulus and Remus, what their historical significance was, and what their place is in today's world, and especially in terms of science. It's a bit of an all over the place thing, but I hopefully it will start to make sense as we go through the episode, right?
I'm
okay.
pretty sure this episode will take a humorous turn right about now because
I don't know.
Sandy brings up topics that starts very serious and then it takes a very humorous
Yeah.
turn. So science and pasta and like I said, I don't remember the name, but
He's
the
basically
name
calling you a funny motherfucker, which is a good thing.
I'll take that. I'll take whatever I can get, you know.
anything for podcast.
Yes, anything for the podcast. So who were Romulus and Remus? Romulus and Remus might sound slightly familiar to those of you who have been to the Colosseum in Rome because
This.
Rome is named after Romulus. That's where Rome gets its name.
Oh.
Romulus and
Okay.
Remus are the legendary twin founders of Rome. One more so than the other because obviously, end of the day, Rome is named after Romulus. Fuck Remus, I guess. No one gave two shits about him, but
Yeah. What the
that's beside the point, I guess. Okay, so now we move on to the next section, which is Colossal Biosciences. Does that name mean anything to anyone?
No. Should it?
Probably. So now we
Okay.
come to the 21st century, more notably to 2024. And that is where we come across Colossal Biosciences. So this is off of Wikipedia for those who don't know. Colossal is an American biotechnology and genetic engineering company working to de-extinct several extinct animals,
All
including
right, the wolf thing.
the woolly mammoth, the Tasmanian tiger, the northern white rhinoceros, the dire wolf, the dodo, and the moa. The moa is an extinct species of flightless birds, very similar to the emu. Those of you who know what an emu is.
Yeah.
So in 2023, it stated that it wants to have woolly mammoth hybrid calves by 2028 and wants to reintroduce them to the Arctic tundra habitat. Likewise, it launched the Tasmanian Thylacine Advisory Committee, a thylacine research project to release Tasmanian tiger joeys back to their original Tasmanian and broader Australian habitat after a period of observation capacity. This is sort of their company's mission statement, if you will, right? Very loosely. This is what they intend to do. The company basically develops genetic engineering and reproductive technology for conservation biology. It was founded in 2021 by Harvard geneticist George Church and billionaire entrepreneur Ben Lamb. This was
Oh
a
no,
very,
Howard and billionaire. What could possibly go wrong?
yeah,
No.
yeah. Who are Romulus and Remus in the modern context, right? In today's world, in today's with the context of additional context of colossal biosciences, who are Romulus and Remus? They are a part of the Colossal Biosciences Dire Wolf project. The goal of the project was replicating the phenotype, the Now, even I didn't know this, obviously, believe it or not, because I'm not a fucking scientist. So a phenotype is a set of observable characteristics or traits of an organism. They are more of a set of physical characteristics of any organism for that matter, right? That's what a phenotype is.
Okay.
So the goal of the Colossal Biosciences direwolf project was to replicate the phenotype of the extinct direwolf. As of 2025, they have produced three genetically modified direwolves that survived beyond infancy. Obviously, they are not the first ones they came about, but they are the ones who survived genetic experimentation. And they were named Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi. And if you're wondering, yes, Romulus and Remus were named after the OG founders of Rome. And Khaleesi is named after the very popular Game of Thrones character, right?
Yeah.
But for the purpose of this episode, we're sticking to Romulus and Remus because they were the first two. If I remember correctly, Khaleesi was born, I think, after 6 to 8 months after Romulus and Remus were sort of conceived and they successfully survived, right? So they were the original batch, Romulus and Remus. So we'll be talking about them in this episode now. Of course, as is the case with most things such as this, there is much discussion. There is a lot of to and fro in the mainstream media around this. But apart from that, more importantly, the scientific community isn't entirely convinced with this quote unquote breakthrough. And there are very major question marks around all of this. And I'm not just talking about in a ethical or moral standpoint. I'm talking from a very extremely scientific standpoint as well.
Yeah.
Right? And there are, as you would imagine, yes, ethics and morals also come into play, but the biggest question mark is from a scientific standpoint.
Fair.
So we'll get to that a little bit later in this episode. I just wanted to introduce the sort of the controversy around the issue right now so that you keep in mind while we move on to exactly what the controversy might have been. And for that to happen, you need to understand what exactly direwolves are. So, right? So these guys went about to bring back the extinct direwolves. That was the central point. Okay, so there are a couple of things you need to remember to sort of before we move forward. For that, this isn't like Jurassic Park, right? This is not a fictional setup. This actually happened. All of this is truth in today's current.
Jurassic Park wasn't real?
Yes, it was not real. But I mean, the rate at which science is progressing, I would not be surprised if we have something similar in like another 25, 30 years.
You asked a question, if you wanted to bring back an extinct...
You want to bring back dinosaurs?
Yeah, T-Rex. They're funny. Have you seen their hands?
Also, they're deadly.
Of course.
But yeah, who cares?
But they...
but I lost my network for a second there. I don't know if you guys.
But I think that I very vaguely remember reading that they are working on something to build a Jurassic Park like thing. They are working on dinosaur genes as we speak, somewhere, somehow.
Damn,
someone is doing this.
Fun. This will be fun.
Right?
Why?
Nice.
I don't know.
Why not? See, we're going to die anyway, right? So might as well just witness dinosaurs and then die.
I mean, I witnessed dinosaurs on TV and they look fine to me. I don't want to look them up close. So I'm fine as we are. Anyway, so this isn't like Jurassic Park. Nobody found any perfect direwolf DNA lying around in amber somewhere. And, someone found it and just very quickly a couple of droppers here and a little bit of microscope there. And lo and behold, direwolves were born. Obviously, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
So what Colossal did is closer to build, again, I'm using quote marks here. What Colossal did is closer to, quotation marks, build a lookalike using today's wolf as the base model. That this is an extremely basic, foolproof way of saying, obviously it's more scientific than that. So scientists call that a proxy. Obviously, right? So some experts agree that the tech is real. The technology that they used is very real. But say that these quote-unquote direwolf pups aren't true direwolves. That is basically the core controversy around the entire thing.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you're going to cover this, but from what I remember, there was also this whole conversation that it's not 100% direwolf also, because the DNA matches about 99% something, which is,
Right.
it's obvious. Like humans
Right.
also have a high percentage of DNA match with other organisms. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that we are,
Right.
interchangeable.
Yes, you're in the right ballpark. Yes, I'll be covering that. Right.
Okay.
So now I'll be going through some steps which were taken by Colossal to go about this quote unquote de-extinction process. There is shock, shock, shock. There is a lot of science involved in this, as you might imagine. But
Shock,
please,
shock, shock.
please bear with me. I've tried to, even for my own sake, I've tried to make this as I've dumbed it down as much as possible. More so for my own understanding rather than everyone's understanding. I hope
Mm.
this is as clear as it can get. So what they did was researchers pulled tiny bits of direwolf DNA from very, very, very old bones.
Mm.
Almost approximately a 13,000-year-old tooth and a 72,000-year-old skull of a direwolf.
Okay.
Right? It is considered at best fragmentary, but just about enough to spot what made direwolves different. So basically, they were scraping DNA dust off of fossils, off of direwolf fossils.
Yeah.
So what they did was next, they laid those ancient sequences next to a grey wolf DNA. Grey wolf is
Mm.
even present in our current world as we speak. Grey wolves are again predators, as you might imagine.
Mm.
So they laid these ancient sequences next to a grey wolf DNA and flagged the key differences between the two sets of DNA. Then they noticed about 20 edits across 14 genes, which were different to that of a dire wolf in terms
Mm.
of look, build, and overall physical appearance. In a nutshell, a dire wolf had a bigger head, they had bigger teeth, they had much, much beefier shoulders and legs, much more muscly. They had a
Mm.
very lighter coat of fur and hair, and even their vocalization quirks were a lot different from a modern grey wolf. So again, I harken back to the phenotype inference I made earlier in the episode. Phenotype again, they are physical characteristics of any organism. So they noticed these about 20 differences in 14 genes in physical characteristics between that of a grey wolf and the extinct dire wolf. So from the living grey wolves, they drew blood.
Mm.
They emphasized that it was a low stress procedure, but we just had to take their word for it, I guess.
Yes.
So,
Again, it is, of course, a Harvard graduate and a billionaire. Why
hmm,
wouldn't we take their words for it?
exactly.
Historically, they have been such reliable people. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't we?
So, from living grey wolves, they drew blood. They isolated special cells called EPCs. So, EPCs, I won't be going into it. It was a very complicated name. I didn't bother to go through it. But just to dumb it down again, they are sort of like repair cells for blood vessels. And they edited these cells with the help of a technology called CRISPR. CRISPR is an acronym. Obviously, it is CRISPR. CRISPR, for those
Mm.
who don't know, is a very commonly used gene editing technology. It is very commonly used, CRISPR technology. And they edited those 14
Sorry,
genes,
commonly used where? Like,
commonly
for
used
what?
by scientists, biotechnologists who are people involved in the field of gene editing and gene research and stuff like that. It is
Ah,
sometimes, if
okay.
I'm not mistaken, also used in some part of forensics also. To find out
Okay.
who committed a crime and so on and so forth. Right?
Mm.
They edited these 14 genes using CRISPR to carry the dire wolf versions. They edited the grey wolf DNA to carry the dire wolf versions. They used cloning technology to take the nucleus from the edited cell and put it into an egg cell that's had its own nucleus removed. It's perfectly all right if you guys don't get this, but that's how this loosely works, all of this. So basically, all of this ends up in creating an embryo carrying the edited DNA. That's
Mm.
how that's how babies are formed. 45 embryos were placed into two domestic hound mix surrogates. So, this is the first red flag. Sorry, second red flag if you look at it. First red flag, is they edited the grey wolf DNA. Second red flag is that the embryos were placed in domestic hound mixes. You know,
First red flag is they came together to think this was a bloody good idea in the first place. That was
okay,
the
fair.
major red flag.
Yeah, fair. That is fair. Yeah, I'll give that to you. Yes. So they placed 45 embryos into these two domestic hound mix surrogates. One each took after about 65 days. One each took by mean like they both got pregnant, right? So Romulus and Remus were delivered by C-section. A third surrogate later birthed Khaleesi the same way, right? The third one, but that was about 6 to 8 months later after Romulus and Remus. So now, as we speak, they are being raised in a secure preserve, reportedly around 2,000 acres, apparently, with limited human contact, while scientists track their health, growth, and behavior to see what the edits actually did. So that is the status quo. Till now, we've covered the status quo, what they did briefly to do all the de extinction, and what their version of de extinction was. I am telling you all of this beforehand so that you have a better idea as to why the scientific community is sort of a bit iffy about all of this. I am
From
just
what I
again,
know, they are not just iffy, they are fully against it. Like they have come out very vehemently against this, no?
right. Yeah, yeah, yes.
Mhm.
Cue weird noises in 3, 2, 1. These are Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi.
Oh no.
So top left is Romulus, top right is Remus, and bottom is Khaleesi. This is when they were born, right? Like shortly after they were born. And for obviously, we'll be sharing these photos on our Instagram, but let me just tell you, they are genuinely the most. If there ever was an AI generated version of what the cutest, I don't know, hound
Wolves.
slash wolf slash dog puppy might look like, that's literally how the most perfect genetic mix of what a puppy might look like. They
They're
look,
adorable.
they're
I feel so
absolutely adorable.
bad.
My God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we proceed any further, a quick fact check needs to be made. Direwolves aren't just the fantasy pets from Game of Thrones that caught everyone's fancy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
They were actual real Ice Age canids, and they were not actually quote unquote wolves in the modern sense. Though they have wolves
Wait,
in their name, they were not wolves.
Game of Thrones wasn't real.
Prakhar, stop it, yeah. What the
Yeah, the wonders of CGI, right? Anyway, ancient DNA shows that they were deeply separate New World lineage that split from today's wolf-like canids about 5.7 million years ago. And crucially, they didn't interbreed with grey wolves or coyotes the way most canids do. So at best, the current version of wolves, they are lookalikes of the extinct dire wolves. They are not even close cousins. The family tree is so far bifurcated over the years that they are not even close relatives. The extinct dire wolves and the modern wolves. They are not from the same
Yeah,
genetic tree even.
they're just doppelgangers. Like we have
Yes.
of Shah Rukh Khan and Salman
Yeah.
Khan. And
Yes.
you know those doppelgangers?
Yes.
Yeah.
At best, they are
You know
doppelgangers.
what?
At best. What?
Have you seen a direwolf that I have at my home? Wait a second.
Oh God,
Have
Prakhar.
you seen this direwolf?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yes. This one.
We can share it on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
I
also
also have
share
a
this one.
direwolf at my home.
Yes. The modern dire wolf at home. Domesticated dire wolf. Yes.
Domesticated direwolf. Yes.
So yeah, you might wonder why I'm bringing up all this doppelganger shit, and how this
Yeah.
is all of this is relevant. I promise it will all make sense in just about 5 minutes. And this is again one of the major points of contention in the scientific community with regards to this whole direwolf project, right? So another point of note: the modern wolf slash dog. The wolf and dog are from loosely the same family tree,
Same
right?
family, yeah.
So that branch is the Canis branch. Dire wolves are now placed in the, if you remember, Enocean Dirus a separate genus altogether, which is why people in the scientific community take great pains to point that out. Similar shape, very different story. Again, doppelganger. So now we'll first refer to the timeline. Like, what are the timelines associated with direwolves? They existed roughly from a period spanning from about 250,000 to about 13,000 years ago. And they mostly were found all over North America and into parts of South America. If you have seen the famous
Famal. Oh, this episode moment is yours, Sandy.
yes, very happy. I'll be cutting it out anyway.
No, you will not be cutting this out. This
Anyway,
we will keep.
if any of you has heard of the La Brea tar pits, the La Brea tar pits is a place in California near Los Angeles. So it has this famous wall of skulls at the Natural History Museum. So that is the hall from La Brea tar pits. It has over 3,600 individuals recovered. Almost 400 skulls are on display, and almost all of the skulls are of the extinct direwolves. So the La Brea tar pits has the biggest collection of like direwolf fossils, artifacts, skulls, bones, so on and so forth. That is
Sounds like
literally
a
not,
fun place.
yeah, it's not a collection, it's literally a crowd, right?
Yeah.
Collection.
In terms of appearances, the direwolves picture a much more stockier, power built canid with a much deeper chest, a much heavier skull, much stouter limbs. The average shoulder height around the biggest grey wolves, but just packing more mass. Like, imagine like the gym bro versions of modern wolves. Grey
Yeah,
wolves.
I was just
Basically,
thinking of that.
you
And
know.
this is a grey wolf who has worked out well.
Basically, yeah, that's what a dire wolf was. Basically, the best version of a grey wolf would would be nothing
Gym bro.
compared to the weakest of a dire wolf, if that makes sense. You know. So a dire wolf skull could reach almost 12 inches, and the teeth were much bigger and more robust than a grey wolf's. It was basically a toolkit for crushing and sharing through heavy carcass. The extinct direwolves could crunch through animal bones, through their prey's bones, which a modern dog or wolf won't be able to do. So, right? So their bite isn't just for show. Studies at La Brea find very high rates of tooth breakage in dire wolves compared with living carnivores. This is a sign they were crunching more bone and competing hard for food, especially in tough times. So if push comes to shove, they could just about eat anything.
Yeah.
Anything. Everything was fair game for them. They were classic megafauna specialists when it came to hunting patterns and behaviors. So bisons, horses, camels, even like small mammoths around that time, who were like the big grazers of open habitats, they were all fair game for a dire wolf. They could take on even mammoths. Imagine, like that's how powerful a dire wolf was. They were like literally like prime predators of that time. One of the most like primest of prime predators around that time.
But they are so
Right?
friend shaped. They're so cute.
Yeah, only from far, you know, very
Yeah.
far, from
Like
very far. Yes,
polar
like polar
bears.
bears. Yes,
Yeah.
like maybe around like 3 kilometers away. That's when they're cutest.
They are going to cover 3 kilometers so quickly.
They were literally living and breathing nutcrackers. They could crunch through bones like candy. You know, such was the jaw force they had. But I mean, this was the question I posed before we found out that you actually are not allergic to dogs. But well, if we had the modern, like the modern version of direwolves, do you think you would have been allergic to them? Had you been
I
allergic to dogs in the
still don't
first
know.
place?
Oh, this is Prakhar. You need some context. So, because I was still getting skin allergy and I couldn't figure out where the fuck it is coming from, yeah, periodically it just comes up.
Even after the Leo thing we figured.
Yeah, even after we would wipe you down before you would enter the house, like those
Thanks for
particular
that.
days, those particular days, no. But I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to the gym, so somebody is coming over there. I just wanted to figure out what the hell the allergy was. So I got a full allergens checkup done, and I have zero marker everywhere. I'm allergic to nothing. So I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I
She's
have
not
to
even
get
allergic to
myself.
Timothy. She's not even allergic to Timothy, of all things.
Sandy, you cannot just say that without giving Prakhar any context. We were seeing the panel, and
I think you're
apparently there's some allergen called Timothy, and we don't know. That didn't come up. But
That
anyways, I have zero
I think you're
allergies.
allergic
But
to South Indians.
Yeah, I'm
why
starting to
would we
think so
wipe?
To
now.
South Indians.
Okay, why would we wipe down Prakhar then?
He looks like a South Indian, no?
Looks like a South Indian.
Nonsense.
You have very cosmetic
Nonsense.
allergies, Ashmita. You look at a South Indian and you feel allergic. You break
What
out into hives.
nonsense. I've had South Indian friends forever. I've had more
You,
South Indian friends
you
than
are
North
just
Indian
you are
friends.
just subconsciously racist. You are not overtly racist. You know, you are allergic to darker skin.
Oh, fair enough. I think that's
You are
that's a
allergic to
better.
melanin, Ashmita. You are allergic to melanin. I'm telling you, the sight of melanin gives you hives.
Sure. Again,
Circling
I
back to the
think
question.
I wouldn't have had the opportunity of finding out if I'm allergic to a direwolf. If I were in their contact, I would not be alive.
That is true. That is true.
Or any other predator. So
It was just a hypothetical anyway. So now we are in the home stretch of the episode. Now we're sort of getting into the meat of the matter. What really is the controversy around this whole thing, right? So I'll try and cover a few angles around this. Most of the controversy around this thing is that it is no doubt absolutely amazing bioengineering. There is no one taking it away from them. Like there's a lot of science involved in this, as you might imagine. But the most controversial aspect of all of this is probably the branding, you know. So the
yeah,
branding is
bringing back.
so what so the first question is, what really counts as de-extinction anyway? That is the first fundamental question. So this is how Colossal framed it. Colossal says if you can recreate key traits such as the size, the skull size, the teeth, the coat, the behavioral cues in a living canid by editing about 20 changes across 14 genes, you've revived the function of the extinct animal, which is a proxy dire wolf. Right? This is what Colossal says.
This is also the villain origin story of
Yes.
numerous.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
This is, they have read nothing.
Yes. 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 You're right. You're absolutely right. That was Colossal's framing of the entire thing, right? Of de-extinction. A skeptic's point of view, by the way, a skeptic is not just one of the street. A skeptic is specifically a scientist who is skeptic in this case, right? Someone who knows their shit about the entire thing.
Basically, not me, but somebody
None of us.
significantly smarter. Yeah.
None of us, probably even none of the listeners, except if there is someone who has done amazing biotechnology things, then it's none of us. Anyway, they feel a proxy with dire-ish traits is still a gene-edited grey wolf, not Anaceon dirus. No full dire wolf genome exists. Edits are selective, therefore, de-extinction is overstated at best. The Labria tarpets, where the dire wolf fossil HQ that we just referred to, it's literally titled their piece. Sorry, they are totally still extinct. That's what they said after.
Yeah,
after
yeah, I read this. I
so,
had read this.
so they took out they wrote a piece which literally titled their piece saying, "Sorry, they're still totally extinct." So there are no de-extinct direwolves as of date, as per the scientific community, which is probably what matters the most, I guess.
Yeah. Mm.
Just because I had a guitar at home doesn't make me a rock star. That's basically the entire issue to start with here. Then you might end up asking, what really are the rules of this entire game? So who decides these rules of extinction and de-extinction, right? So the IUCN is the International Union for Conservation of Nature. The IUCN Canid Specialist Group very bluntly said that the three pups are not dire wolves and do not qualify as proxies under IUCN's guidelines. That they claim that there is insufficient evidence that they are phenotypically distinct enough from gray wolves, not gay wolves, gray wolves, or
They might be grey. Oh, no, they might be gay.
see, therein lies the confusion, I guess. Anyway, the IUCN's guidelines say that there is insufficient evidence that they're phenotypically distinct enough from gray wolves or even match the dire wolves' traits, like genetic traits, right? To this, Colossal rebutted, saying that, and they published their own PDF, by the way. They took out a PDF in rebuttal to IUCN's statement, arguing that the project aligns with IUCN's proxy principles, but they provided a supplemental rationale to this, obviously, right? Translation. For those who are still wondering what all of this even means, there is a very easier translation. Each side cites the same playbook, but they just read it differently. So basically, it depends on who you're asking. IUCN says, per our guidelines, they are still extinct. Colossal says, per your guidelines, they are de-extinct. So literally, there has been no sort of bipartisan or even a
What about a third
impartial.
party? What about what about a third party? Why doesn't somebody else read the guidelines?
Who knows? At least I don't know. So hence, even you don't know, because I know for a fact none of you will do the research to find this out.
How mean.
Now you might ask, where the fuck is all the peer-reviewed data? Like for anything scientifically accepted, there needs to be peer-reviewed data, right? The issue has been all of the entire project, the entire Colossal Biosciences Dire Wolves project has been press first, papers later. So there were big claims which arrived via media features, most notably on the cover of the Time magazine.
Yeah.
And company posts, right? Much of the underlying data was not in peer-reviewed journals at the time of announcement.
But were they peer reviewed before publication?
No, that's the entire point. No, they did the publicity first. There was no peer-reviewed data at the time of the publication. They just made very bold claims.
Howard living up to its reputation,
Right.
I see. Anyway,
And
go ahead.
obviously, a lot of the science and or nature-based coverage flagged this gap at the time, and they urged caution, saying that all of this looks very good on paper, but there is no actual scientific evidence for us to go through and accept this as some wonder of science. But obviously, as you might expect out of media, the media was split on this. Some outlets ran the first quote unquote first de-extinction narrative. Others ran skeptical explainers or focused on what the tech could do for living species instead. Obviously, there are some who put a lot of weightage in the actual science behind all of it. A lot of, in this case, especially time. And time over the years, we have noticed it has just, we know where it is going. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
time is basically an ominous warning about everything. Anything on time cover means something is fucking wrong.
So I'm just quickly showcasing the cover of Time, which broke this scientific breakthrough. As you can see, this dire wolf on the cover is a 6-month-old Remus.
Oh, really? I thought this was Khaleesi.
No, this was a 6-month-old Remus. If you see the cover, this is Remus. He's a dire wolf, the first to exist in over 10,000 years. Endangered species could be changed forever. So this was their the article through which they announced their scientific breakthrough of this entire thing. But it's a scientific breakthrough only in quotes at the time of this. Now we move on to the debate between conservation and spectacle. That obviously the people have picked sides here, very understandably so. So what is the concern of the critics of the entire project, I mean? So all of the hype around this project, they claim, can distract funding and attention from urgent conservation. For example, red wolves on the brink of extinction.
Exactly.
And they claim all of this might oversell what gene editing can actually deliver for ecosystems. This is basically the experts saying instead of bringing back extinct animals, let's focus on the animals that we have at present who are on the verge of extinction, and let's use all of this technology to save them instead. Which is
Also,
a
let
very,
us
very sound
Makes
argument.
sense.
Yeah,
Very
and
sound
also
argument.
let us not assume that de-extinction is actually possible. Like, I
Exactly.
think
Right.
that is a very big concern, because here it is seeming like we can continue doing the fuckaboutery that we are doing right now to our
Yeah.
ecosystems, and we'll just be able to bring the cute ones back. No,
Yeah.
friend, that is not how this is working. Like, you are placing too much faith on Harvard graduates. If you have ever met even a single one of them, you know they are evil pieces of shit. Like, please do not.
By the way, all the Harvard graduates or the one or two who end up listening to this, you are most welcome. It's fine. That's just Ashmita's. We talk about this after every episode. She ends up saying that just stop me when I go on a rant, and she ends up going
No,
on a rant
please.
anyway.
No,
So,
no, no. Okay. Okay, some people, yes, some random rants have made that did not deserve it. But Harvard graduates will always deserve it, and billionaires will always deserve it. Because more,
that is fair,
actually,
I guess.
with billionaires, 100% of the time they're assholes. They are terrible people. And with Harvard graduates, have you seen historically what they
Yeah,
have
yeah.
turned out?
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to direwolves,
Yeah.
Andy.
So again, in response to the critics' worry about the whole de-extinction thing and not helping out the animals currently on the verge of extinction, Colossal's response was that these tools, the ancient DNA collection, precise editing, cloning, so on and so forth, they do spill over into real conservation, such as genetic rescue, disease resistance, biobanking. All of these are again very scientific terms. I will not go into them, but I think you can very loosely understand what they mean. So, and the functional proxies could someday help fill lost ecological roles, is their argument. That in the ecosystem they might find some role in the ecosystem and fill that role in case some other animal is going extinct. These guys can go and fill their role. Again, which is, you don't know that for sure.
Yes,
As you
what
all,
is this might help?
exactly.
You know,
Also, let me also reiterate that we have already established that if a dire wolf were to exist in today's world, it is literally the primest of prime predators. It will kill everything in its way. Do you think that's really helpful to any
Yeah.
ecosystem? The
no, I
ecosystem
mean,
has
Sandy,
evolved. No,
yeah, I
ecosystem
mean, we
has
don't,
also evolved, right?
yeah, correct. I mean, we don't know that. We don't know if, existence of a dire wolf is going to, or any such
The
species
thing is, we
from,
don't know for
say,
sure. That's the biggest thing. What we know for
yeah.
sure, we're
So
not
it's
helping
not,
out.
we
Yeah,
can't say, yeah, but we can't say that, they are not going to let any other thing survive, because predators
fair
have
enough.
existed
That is
forever.
fair.
Yeah, so animal
No,
predators are fine. It's men
but
that's the
my
problem.
argument in this is that the dire wolves were brought up in a certain ecosystem all those years ago. Right? Why are you laughing?
Because I said
Ashmita.
What?
because I said animal predators are fine. It's men that's the problem. So Prakhar started.
Okay, fair. But my argument in this case is that the dire wolves were brought up in an ecosystem, whatever, 15,000 years ago. The
Correct.
ecosystem since then has evolved and adapted to the current ecosystem now. I
Correct.
don't see
Yeah.
how the predators of that time would survive in today's ecosystem, is what I'm saying. Yes, they will find food, but their needs, even as simple as their nutritional needs, would be much more different than current predators' nutritional needs. Is that making sense? You
It
know?
is. I just don't think that there is, like, we don't know anything about this to
Yeah,
make
exactly.
this,
We don't know much
to
enough
even
about.
even
Fair enough.
hypothesis, or at least, I mean, at least the three of us definitely don't know enough about
Yeah,
this. Like, I don't know if
exactly.
other people do. Yeah.
Hmm.
And finally, I think this is probably the one of the most relevant points. It's the discussion between animal welfare and ecological risks, not between and animal welfare and ecological risks, and the argument against that. In terms of welfare, Surrogacy and or cloning can involve failed embryos and difficult pregnancies. Especially in this case, as we referred to, they were domesticated hounds. And obviously, critics want transparent reporting on losses and lifelong care, when very rightly so.
Yes.
Because also, if you remember, these cubs, they're growing up in a private preserve, and they have
Which
no
is
release
a
plans. They have no release
which
plans,
is
right?
which is basically another word for prison.
Yes, they're basically in a very massive prison at this moment. So obviously there are concerns about their welfare. Even if you're bringing them back, what are you ending up achieving? They are not living a very
Yeah.
happy life.
No.
And B,
What's the end goal?
ecologically, yeah, ecologically, more importantly, so this is what I was referring to, Ashmita. You can't resurrect the ice age food web. Releasing proxy mega carnivores into modern landscapes is unlikely and could be disruptive. Hence, the keep them in captivity stance for now. And Labria, the experts from Labria emphasize on this. Dire wolves evolved for a world that is long, long gone.
Hmm.
And this is what the experts from Labria are emphasizing on, that even if you bring them back, they are not meant for today's world. So the odds of
Fair.
them surviving in today's world
Basically,
are very, very less. Yes.
basically the entire premise of Jurassic Park.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
So that is, those are some of the controversies around the entire thing. I'm just quickly sharing. I don't know how recent this is, but these are five, sort of 6 to 8 months ish old Remus and Romulus
They are so cute.
in their preserve. I don't know which one is which. Take a guess, right?
Of course, you don't know which one is which.
Yeah. But yeah, these are the guys. Again, they look very adorable in a photo. I'm pretty sure they are terrifying up close. So
Many predators look adorable. Have you seen tigers? My god,
yeah,
cute as fuck.
yeah,
What?
that
Tigers are
was
cute. Why are you laughing?
no, no, no. We agree. We agree with you. Tigers are cute from afar. Very true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all predators are, I mean, all animal predators are cute from afar only.
Yes, yes, much agreed. But yeah, that was my topic of the day. What got me into this were the names Romulus and Remus, and that led me down a rabbit hole into the establishment of Rome. That led me into colossal biosciences. That led me to dire wolves, and here we are. So I hope you guys got something out of that. At least it was. I hope you got to learn something and about this whole thing. And this is. I also want to do this because this is sort of. It's not current, but it's sort of semi-current. It's in the recent past only.
Hmm.
So maybe
Yeah,
in the
it's very
last six to
new.
8 months. Yeah. So it's sort of relevant in the current, maybe news cycle, if you will.
Recommendation time.
So my recommendation of the day is this show called Psych. And why I recommend Psych is because if any one of you wants a good mix of comedy, drama, there is a little bit of drama, but it's not the overarching thing. The best thing about the show is the absolute nonsensical nature of the comedy and the people
Yeah,
in the
it's a
show.
lot of fun. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it is genuinely one of those shows where you don't have to invest any of your brain cells into it, and you can randomly pick any episode and watch it, and it's just as nonsense as the previous one. The two main protagonists, they are best friends, Sean and Gus, and their chemistry is off the charts, off the charts
Exceptional. Yeah,
chemistry,
yeah,
off the charts chemistry, and you genuinely cannot tell whether they are best friends in real life. Hint, hint, they actually are best friends in real life, but it genuinely comes across, and it is. I think there are about 8 seasons of it, and it's each and every single episode is an absolute gem, and you won't get bored for a single second. I assure you.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's the episode. And if you have any thoughts on colossal biosciences, dire wolves, or just any thoughts on the moral and ethical, grounds of this entire dire wolves project, or any other thing, or if there is
Or
some
if you agree with me that billionaires are absolute disgusting people. If you
that,
disagree, do not write. I don't want to
then
hear from
even
you.
then, right,
But if
please.
you
Even then, right, we just
no,
want to
don't
know.
write. No, no, no.
I'll read.
You
I'll
are
read.
welcome to you are welcome to take yourself out of this conversation. We do not engage with people who think billionaires are good people. But the rest of you normal
And
people, please write to us.
And in a hypothetical world, if you were given the choice to bring back an animal from extinction, in a purely hypothetical world, might I reiterate, what animal would that be? Do let us know. Please write to us at don't know do care one at gmail.com. The one is numerical. Or you could just drop in a DM to us on Instagram at DKDC Podcast. Please give us all the likes, subscribes. Please follow us on Instagram. Wherever you listen to our podcast, please give us some ratings, give us some likes, comment if you can.
Basically
It helps us out
validate our
massively.
existence.
See, I'll tell you what.
Yes.
I'll come very clear here. The thing is, it's more for the algorithm than for us. We can live without all the external validation for a little time. But the thing is that the algorithm can't survive without any external validation, because the more people that like and comment and rate us, the more people it reaches out to. So you will be helping us out massively if you do any of those things. So please consider doing that.
Very well put, Sandy. Very well put.
And thank you for lending us, probably, and depends on the edit, an hour of your day. And we hope to see you soon in the next episode. Goodbye for now. Bye bye.
Okay.